Okay, we'll get started now. I'll record it for everybody who's not with us already. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Cool. Can everybody see the slides? Can you just take yourself off mute? Just keep yourselves off mute so we can just talk, okay? Lucy, can you take yourself off mute as well? Lovely, thank you. Are you able to turn your video on, Lucy?
I don't know if my camera's working.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe just for next time, just
Yeah.
being a speech and debate class, we're going to be doing lots of talking, so it's good to be able to see each other. All right. Good. Let me start with me. This is some pictures of me. Do you know where the picture on the left is taken? Anybody recognize it?
No.
No, you don't know? Oh,
Somewhere in China.
Might. Ah, somewhere in China. Great. it's the Temple of Heaven in Beijing. So I studied in Beijing a couple of years ago, and I also lived in Shanghai for a little while. So I love China and I love Chinese language, and I'm really excited to be working with you on your English. But if you have any questions around words, translating words from Chinese, or different ways of phrasing things in English from Chinese, then I can probably help you there as well. Okay, right. And I just want to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me. Okay, so my name is Lauren. You can see my name here, Lauren. In Chinese, Lauren. 麦当劳的劳，认识的人，Lauren. And this is my lovely family here. So I'm married. This is my husband, Simon. This is I've got two daughters. My daughter here, Eva, and my baby, Nina. Okay, so you'll hear a little bit about them maybe when I give you some examples. All right, let's jump straight into it. So, let's talk a little bit about why we might want to learn about speech and debating. Okay, so let's just have a little discussion about what professions or jobs use the skills that we learn in speech and debating. Okay, just jump in. Yep, that's me.
For school-related stuff like school counselor, head girl, and like debating classes once you go to high school.
Right. Okay. And what are the equivalent of those jobs in the real world when you're an adult? Hi, Max.
When you get a real job and you're talking to people.
Yeah. So if you're a counselor at school, when you're an adult, what might you become?
A lawyer.
Ah, lawyer. That's a good idea. You might become a lawyer. Okay, I'm just going to write some notes.
A project manager.
Project manager. Yeah. What kind of? We could maybe put businessman, like more generally. Yeah. Great. What other jobs? There's some pictures here on the screen. What other jobs can you see here?
Police.
Speak up a little louder. Can't hear you.
Detectives and police.
Right. Policemen, right? Police, detectives, great.
Anytime when you're talking to your workmates about your job and stuff and making decisions.
Making decisions, yeah, I agree. What other jobs are here on the screen?
Teaching.
Teaching, yes, my job, right? Right.
Interviewing.
Yes, so you're looking at the one on the left. Yep, so those are like TV reporters, or you could say broadcasters. So they have to interview people, right? What other ideas?
Doctors.
Yeah. How do you think doctors have to use speech and debating skills?
to say what medicine works the best, or when you're doing surgery on someone, who does that.
Yeah, great work. So they might have to convince somebody, or they might have to give bad news, so they have to communicate quite sensitively, right? Right. Hi, Chris. Hi, Max. Have you got any ideas from here? Can you just turn on your mics so we can talk? And your videos, please, if you can. What jobs can you see on there? Does anybody know who this person here is?
Better something.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg. Yeah, what does she do? What's her job?
Talks about climate change and how
Right,
we
so
should stop it.
yeah, so what does that make her? What's her job?
Just
What's with T?
speaking in front of a lot of people.
Act,
Actor?
not an actor,
Activist.
activist. Great work. An activist or a lobbyist. Great work. So she's like fighting for climate change. She's trying to convince governments, right? Great. So what I want to show you from this little thing is, although this is just 1 hour a week that we spend together, the skills that we can learn in this class, we can take away with us and we can use them for the rest of our lives. Some really important skills, all right? So let's have a look at other stuff. I'll just clear the board. Okay. Okay. So anybody know who this person here is?
Cindy Arden.
Ah, great. Well done. What's she doing in this photo? First of all, who is she?
The
The
Prime
The
Minister.
Prime Minister.
Right, she's the Prime Minister. Great. So what is her job from those lists that we had?
To make decisions for the country.
Yeah, what's her job? What's the name of her job?
to rule the country.
That's what she does, but what's her job?
Prime Minister.
Right, she's the Prime Minister. So that makes her a
Politician.
good politician. That's what I'm looking for. Great, politician. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. Good, politician. All right. So, and somebody said it's her job to make decisions about the country, right? Have you seen in this picture, what is she doing?
Talking about COVID-19.
Well done. Yeah, she does like a 1 p.m. like press conference, right? Every day during the pandemic. Okay. So I want us to have a little think. Okay. I've got some questions over here on the left. Why learn how to do speeches and debate? What's the point of it? And what skills do we learn? Okay, so I want you to write down the question on your paper
So
and have a little think. What skills we learn from learning how to do speeches and debates? And think about Jacinda Ardern when she does her speech on the TV. What is she doing? What skills does she do? I'll give you 3 minutes, okay? You can put yourselves on mute while you write, guys. Okay. Let's come back together and just pop your mics back on for me. Awesome. So let's hear some of your ideas. What skills do we learn by learning how to debate and how to do speeches?
How to convince people.
Great. Love it.
How to win arguments all the time.
Well done. Yeah. Just let me type as you say. How to win arguments. Yes. Any other ideas?
How to write persuasive text better.
I can't quite hear you.
How to write persuasive text better.
Great work. Yes.
How to
Yes.
make
Let's say just one moment. How to be persuasive, maybe, or maybe how to persuade others, right? Because we are wanting to convince other people. Yep. Yes. What was the other idea?
how to make people realize something.
Yes. So related to that would be like when Jacinda Ardern, she's got in the picture, she's got this chart, right? She's doing what? Showing people what? If I learn something that I didn't know before, then I am doing what?
Informing people.
Right, I'm informing people. Well done. So maybe people didn't know the data or the statistics, and so she's showing them on that paper, right? Great. What else?
How to speak in public.
Yes. Right. Anything else?
New knowledge like facts. And
Yes. Where do we get the facts and statistics from?
By researching.
Well done. So we learn how to research, right? Right. Chris, are you able to give me an idea?
I'm not really quite sure.
Okay, that's fine.
Making your points understandable with research and knowledge.
Great. So you've got to have evidence, right?
Yes.
Okay. Lucy, any ideas from you?
How to prove your point.
Yes, great. Next.
Confidence.
Right, I love it. Cool, so there's lots and lots and lots. Rui, anything from you, love? Are you there, Rui? Want to sleep? Milk, hi Milk, how are you doing? Could you give me some ideas about what skills we learn by doing debating and speeches? Oh, a bit shy. I've got a couple of other ideas. I've got learning to see things from other,
Perspectives.
Great, perspectives. Well done. Yes, very important. Maybe one of the other things is like organizing. Just put this up a little bit.
Structuring your whatever you're writing.
Yes, structuring thoughts, right, and ideas. Awesome. Well done, guys. Okay, just take a minute or two, and I want you to copy down the list of ideas. If there's some on your list that you didn't get, you can add them on, okay? Just take a couple of minutes to write the list down. one more minute and then we'll come together. Okay, let's come back together. So what I want you to do is to choose 2 of these points for yourself, okay? So for example, you might feel like you know how to do research and you know how to, and you feel confident when you speak, but you might think that your personal goal is you want to learn how to persuade others, for example. Okay, so I just want you to highlight or circle 2 of the things on this list that is your goal to learn from this lesson, okay, from this course. What things do you want to focus on? And if you want, later, you can message in the chat and say, hey, this is what I want to focus on so that I can help you to improve in those areas, okay? So just have a little think what 2 things you want to focus on. So you can tell me if you want in the chat. If you just want to keep it for yourself, that's fine as well. All right? So today we are going to talk about 2 things. I'm just going to erase my circle. So in today's lesson, we're going to start by looking at things from other perspectives, okay? That's what we're going to talk about for the rest of the lesson. Okay. So of course, if we're going to do any type of debating or speeches, we need to have a topic, right? We need to have a topic. So I've got this. Take a stand. Take a stand. What does stand mean? Stand mean?
Take a speech.
Be more a little specific.
Like go up to the stage and make a speech.
Ah, okay. So it can mean to stand up, right? And if I stand up and make a speech, I'm using my what?
Mouth.
Yeah, I'm using my voice, right? Stand up, use your voice. When somebody says use your voice, there's a practical meaning and also a metaphorical meaning, a meaning that's not about your actual mouth, right? Can anybody tell me what the other meaning is? What does it mean? Use your voice.
Using your voice. Using your brain.
Yeah, it means like give your opinion. Okay, so take a stand means stand up, use your voice, and give your opinion. Okay, make your opinion count, I guess. Okay, so it's a little bit of a pun in English. All right, great. So have a look at the second question. What make the best topics? What are we going to talk about when we do speech and debating?
When
Any
you do
ideas?
speech and debating, you can't choose a topic that is too political because it will offend a lot of people.
Okay, so we don't want to be offensive, okay? But, you know, sometimes it's good to choose something that we are passionate about, right? That makes it easy to talk about. Yep. And do we want to just do we want to be black and white with what we believe, or do we want to be grey? What do you think is easier to talk about?
Great.
Grey is easy to talk about?
White.
Is it easier to say, I do believe this, or I don't believe that? Or is it easier to say, maybe this, maybe that, not sure?
I do believe this.
Yeah, black and white is easier. So take a definite position, right? It's easier if you say, I agree or I disagree. Right. And the other thing, how do we make sure that people are interested in what we say? The topic has to be what?
Done.
Relevant.
Relevant, great work. Relevant and relatable. Okay, what do I mean by relevant and relatable?
Things that people talk about in everyday life.
Yep, great. Next, any ideas? Relevant and relatable? Milk, Rui, are you able to add? Okay, we'll have a look at some examples, okay? We'll have a look at some examples. All right, so if we're going to agree or disagree about a topic, what are the two sides? What do we call them when we have a debate?
I think it's for
The defending and the opposing.
Oh yeah.
Ah, very good. Opposing, yes. And the other one? I couldn't hear you.
Defending.
Ah, okay, good. You can also say pros or for or cons, against. Okay, can you take a minute to copy down what we've talked about so far and make a little table like this on your paper with pros and cons? Give you just a minute, okay? And once we've done that, we'll take a little break.
What do we do once we're done?
You can start your break, okay? We're going to take 5 minutes. So if you could be back at 7:35. Okay, so once you finish, you can take a little break and we'll see you again soon. Come back now, everyone. We'll restart. You could just put your microphones back on for me so we can have a discussion about the next part. Everyone back? Right. So now we've talked about a little bit about who uses debates and speeching. We've talked a little bit about why we should do debates and speeches. And now we've talked a little bit also about topics. Okay, so let's have a go at picking apart topics a little more. Okay, so have a look at this picture here. Okay. Chris, can you tell me what the picture shows?
A giraffe.
Yeah.
And some vegetables.
Yeah. Where do you think the picture is taken?
At the zoo.
Ah, great, at the zoo, awesome. So what topic might this photo represent, do you think? Max? Just going to go to Max for a minute. Max? What kind of topic could I make about this picture in a speech or in a debate?
Feeding the animals at the zoo.
Yeah. What do you think might be controversial about zoos? Why might somebody want to debate it or make a speech about it?
So they can put more animals in?
Okay, something about animals in the zoos. Okay, any other ideas? Rui, I haven't heard anything from you. Are you able to add anything? Are you there? Milk, what about you? Oh, okay. I'll come back to, let's go to Lucy this time.
I think that if they let the children feed the animals, there might be bacteria since they touch it. So I think it's like a bad thing.
Okay, so it might be something about the health and safety of the children. What about the animals though? Max said maybe it's about the animals being in the zoo. What could be a little bit controversial about animals in the zoo? Any ideas?
Me.
Go ahead, Yasmin.
Should zoos be banned or not?
Ah, I like it very much. Good. So, are zoos the right place for animals, right? So the topic could be, are zoos the right place for animals to live? Good. What do you think some of the different stances would be? So we talked about this word stance here. And we learned that you can have two sides of the argument, right, Daniel? Tell me what the two sides of the argument were. And take off your mute, please. Hello, Daniel, are you there? Are you there, Daniel? Can you take your mute off, please?
Yes.
Ah, great. Can you tell me what the two sides of the argument were from before the break? So if we agree with the argument, then what is it? Pros, great. And if we disagree with the argument?
Cons.
Cons, great work. So we can have pros and cons. Well done. Awesome. So let's have a little discussion about what the pros and cons would be of this question. Are zoos the right place for animals to live? What do you think are the different perspectives on this?
Yes and no.
Yeah. So can you give me some examples? What might people think about it? Go ahead, Yasmin.
Some people might think there's no freedom for the animals.
Right.
While some other people might think that it's safe for the animals to be in there.
Right. Well done. Like it. Max, have you got some ideas? What do you think? Do you think it's okay to have the animals in the zoo for the children to go and visit? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? There's no right or wrong answer. Just want your opinion. Have you been to the Auckland Zoo?
A long time ago.
Okay. So what do you think? What's your opinion? You think it's a good thing or not a good thing to have animals in the zoo, Max?
It's not. I don't know.
Not sure. Okay. Lucy, can you help? What's your
I think
opinion?
it depends. I think it's okay to have them like breed in the zoo in case they're endangered, but I don't think they should be put on show.
Okay, so there's some interesting conditions there. Great. Milk, Rui, have you got any ideas to add? Not sure if they're there or not. Okay, let's try the next slide. Okay, so if you could just write down on your paper the question, okay? Are zoos the right place for animals to live? Just write that part down for me. This question down here. Are zoos the right place for animals to live? And then also write down pros and cons. The two sides of the argument, pros and cons. Okay. Are zoos the right place for animals to live? So we're going to go on to the next page now. So we talked earlier about debating, and speeches give us the possibility to look at something from another perspective, right? So when we look at things from different perspectives, we can say that we walk in someone else's shoes. Have you ever heard that expression before?
Yes.
Yeah, here's a little picture, right? A little girl in her mummy's shoes, right? So this is a way we can say, look at things from someone else's perspective. Yep, okay. Right, so which are some of the people in this whole zoo question that might have different perspectives? Which perspectives do we need to take into account?
The people who visit the zoo.
Right,
And the
people who visit the zoo. Yeah.
People who own the zoo.
People who own the zoo. Right, thank you. Chris, any ideas from you?
I just can't think of anything right now.
What were we talking about? The giraffes, what are they?
And animals being kept at a
Right,
zoo.
so the animals have a perspective, right? Okay, the people visiting the zoo, the animals. Daniel, who else might have a perspective on it? Any ideas? What about who works at the zoo?
The staff.
Ah, what staff are there at the zoo? What do we call the animal doctors? Ah, the zookeepers. Great, zookeepers. Love it. And what about the animal doctors? What's the word for that in English? Vets. Great, awesome. Yeah. Okay, and there's one other group. So earlier we talked about like activists and lobbyists, right? Like Greta Thunberg. So there might also be animal rights activists. Okay, let's have a look. I'll bring up the pictures. Okay, so there's animals, zookeepers, vets, scientists, activists. We could put in there animal rights activists. Right, and we've also got the children or the people who come to the zoo, right? Right, so I'd like you to take, let's do 3 minutes. Okay, I want you to write down animals, zookeepers, vets, scientists, activists, and children. And I want you to write down, do you think they would be pro or for or against? Okay, and what would their perspective be on the question, are zoos the right place for animals? What are the different perspectives? And sometimes they might have a pro and a con. Oops, sorry. One more minute and then we'll come back together. So just try and finish off your notes. Okay, let's come back together. All right, we are going to start with Lucy, please. Choose one of the categories and could you just tell me about the pros? Choose any of the 4 categories.
So I think for the animals, it's like a safer place, and because of like invasive species, it's better if the endangered ones live in zoos.
Right, a safer place for endangered. Right. So what makes the zoo safe for endangered species? What can they do in a zoo?
There's like no invasive species because that's like probably what made them go endangered. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great, perfect. Okay, any other ideas? One more? Any other pros for the animals? Anybody have any ideas? I'll let anybody jump in now.
They get to meet a lot of people.
They get to meet lots of people. Is that necessarily a good thing though?
Animals might not like it.
Yeah, they might like it. It might be that might be a con, right? Let's put it down here. Because in the wild, they wouldn't normally meet lots of people, right? Or if they're a tiger or a lion, they might even eat you. Right, so it might not be good for animals to meet lots of people. Okay. Any other ideas, Max, for animals?
They might.
Animals aren't there in their natural habitats.
Right. Awesome. So why is that bad for them?
They lose their freedom.
Can't hear. Oh, lose your freedom. Yes. Great work. So they can't just go wherever they want to go, right? Does anybody have any more pros, any good things about the animals?
Think, so in the wild, they had to like rely on themselves to find food, find shelter, and take care of their, babies and stuff. But in a zoo, all the zookeepers take care of them.
Yeah, so it's easy, right? Easy life. Right. That up here. Great. What about the activists? Let's talk about the activists. Daniel Zhongli, can you help me with some ideas? What would the activists say about the animals being in the zoo?
Maybe they wouldn't want it to be in them, for them to be in the zoo, because then they might like not be able to survive in the wild after all their care in the zoo.
Right. Okay. So they can't survive in the wild anymore, right? They become domesticated. Right. That's a great idea. Okay. Any other ideas about activists, Daniel? Does anybody have any ideas about the positive things that the activists might say about zoos?
They might think that zoos that keep endangered animals so they can take care of them, and then they send them back into the wild.
Right.
May be a good idea.
Yes.
For activists, for the cons, so the way the world lives is, for cycle. Yeah, I think one of the cons may be to stop the cycle, like the human animal cycle.
Okay. What do you mean by human animal cycle? Can you tell me more? You mean like interference by humans on animal habitats and animal lives?
So like, maybe like a certain bug helps a plant, and then the other wild animal eats that, and then produces something else that is good for the earth, and then it just goes on and
Oh,
on.
you mean like the life cycle?
Yeah.
Like life cycle. Okay, so what's the con? That it affects the life cycle?
Yes.
Ah, great. I think you mean the circle of life, right? Like in The Lion King, they talk about the circle of life. So that it's normal that a shark eats the little fish and the fish eat the tiny little fish, and that's just the life cycle in nature, right? Right. Chris, can I hear from you, please? Any ideas from any of these topics?
For the zookeepers and stuff,
Yes.
they might think it's a bad thing as well, because they think it's not right to keep animals in the shelter.
But they work there, right? So if they work there, do you think they support the zoo?
They might
Yes.
not, because it might be they have to go there because they have no choice.
Okay, so maybe they don't have a choice. But if they're there because they want to be there, why do you think they work there?
So they can get money.
Okay. But most people work more than just because of money, right?
Maybe because they like animals.
They like animals, okay. So they get to do what they like, right? What they love to do. They like working with animals, and that's like their dream job. What does the scientists, what do they do in zoos, do you think?
They study the animals.
Right. So that's a positive thing, right? What type of things do we learn when we study the animals?
They test on the animals to see how they think, what happens in their life, and yeah.
Perfect. So we can learn more, right?
Yes.
Good.
Maybe
And
so.
has anybody been to the Auckland Zoo recently? What other important things do they do at the zoo? They give the people that come
Information.
information. Wow. So if they have families come, it can give them information and they can help people understand things like climate change, pollution, all of those kind of things, right? Okay, last thing before we finish today, what about children?
So the pros are, I think children think that going to the zoo is fun. They can explore. They can see lots of animals.
Right. Would they normally be able to see giraffes?
No,
because they can't.
except if you live in Africa.
Great. So the kids get to see animals. What?
That you don't see every day.
Right, that they normally couldn't see. What's maybe a negative thing? Just before we finish.
Normally, children don't really think a lot, so they might feel bad for the animals because maybe that they might pretend that they are a giraffe or something and then imagine that they are stuck in a cage.
Yeah, okay, so they get used to seeing animals in cages. They don't see them in the wild, right? And just one last point, have you ever been to the zoo and see people like
Yes.
doing like that? What is that doing to the animals?
It's disturbing the animal.
Yeah, it's annoying them, right? Right, so children can be a little bit annoying for the animals as well. Great. Okay, we're finishing up for today, guys. Well done. Really good brainstorming. I'm going to show you your homework. Okay, ready for next week. And then I will post the homework in the folder as well. Okay, in the chat group. Okay. So I'm just taking a copy of that. Right. So homework. Have a look at this picture for me. What do you think the picture shows?
Tax.
Yeah, what's tax?
If you buy something, I think it gives you tax.
Yeah, it's like when you pay extra money on top of something. Okay, what's the white stuff?
Wait, tax sheets of paper.
No. What are the little cubes? The white cubes and the powder. What is that?
Money.
Oh, you put it into your coffee or your tea.
Sugar.
Sugar, great. So the photo is sugar and then tax. Have you ever heard of sugar tax before?
No.
Any ideas what it means?
No.
So there's an idea that the government should make things that have sugar in them more expensive. So Coca-Cola in a bottle should be more expensive than water, for example. Or McDonald's, because it's got lots of sugar in it, should be very expensive so that people don't buy it. They buy a healthy apple or something else, okay? Sugar tax, okay? So your homework, I want you to think about sugar tax as a topic and think about the different perspectives, the pros and the cons, and the different people, the different perspectives of that topic, okay? Have a think, write some notes, and next time we're going to talk some more about it, okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for a lovely lesson. I really enjoyed talking with you and getting to know you. Yeah? Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, have a nice
Thank
evening.
you.
Bye.